Hi, I'm the little handyman. Got a little hand. Today, I'm going to show you how to make these block and dowel drawer pulls. Start by cutting a 3/8 inch dowel to 6 inches in length. I attached an auxiliary fence to my miter gauge. You could also use a crosscut slit. A stop block assures consistency. Use an 1/8 inch roundover bit on the router table to soften the ends of the dowels. I clamped a 1/4 inch thick piece of plywood to my router table to keep the dowel centered on the bit as I rolled the dowel to get a roundover all the way around the dowel rod. It won't look like much coming away from the router, but blend it with some 120 grit sandpaper so you don't have an unsightly nub. Trust me, it sucks. Rip some 3/4 inch thick stock to 7/8 inch wide strips. Cut enough so you have extra for setup pieces and mistakes. The final blocks will be too small to take to the router, so put an 1/8 inch roundover on the top and bottom of one of the narrow faces, not both. Cut the strips into blocks that are 1 1/4 inches long. Again, I used a stop block to assure consistency. Don't try this at the miter saw, that would be stupid. I put together this jig to hold the blocks in place while I drilled holes into them. It's a 6 inch by 12 inch piece of plywood with a 6 inch long piece of 2x6 attached to one side. 2 pieces of hardwood are attached to the 2x6 using a piece of 3/4 inch stock to separate them, so the gap is perfect. A small gap is left underneath the pieces of hardwood so backing material can be slid underneath and creates a little dust channel. Finally, a horizontal style clamp is attached to hold the blocks in place because I don't have enough hands as it is. Clamp the jig to a drill press so that the hole is bored 3/8 of an inch from the top, the bottom, and the rounded over face of the block. Use a brad point bit so you know you're hitting the center point exactly. Sand the blocks with 120 grit sandpaper on every face. Rotate the blocks 90 degrees while sanding to round over the edges on the wide faces. Keep sanding in this way until the edge matches the roundover on the narrower face. Then sand the blocks with 220 on all surfaces. The glue up got a little sloppy when I tried to show it on camera. I used a Q-tip to get the wood glue into the hole. Hey-o! To space the blocks on the dowel, I used 2 spacers. One is a 1/2 inch piece pressed firmly against a 2x2 screwed to my workbench. A 2.5 inch wide spacer is put between the blocks. I checked the opposite side of the dowel with a combination square to make sure that side is also a 1/2 inch. After some sanding to remove the squeeze out, I marked the center of each block with a cross. Make sure to line these up with where you'll put the hole in your drawer front so it all matches. I drilled a hole to put in some brass inserts. Set the depth stop on the drill press to the appropriate length for your inserts. Mine is 3/8 of an inch. You may want to clamp the handles in place rather than use your finger, but as someone who's already short a few fingers, I think they're overrated. When putting in the inserts, be careful that they go in straight. They have a tendency to go in crooked, which would cause problems later. To drill a hole in the drawer front, I used a brad point bit to locate the hole precisely and used a square next to my drill to keep it going straight up and down. At this point, the handles can be attached with screws the same way you would attach any commercially available handles. 1 down, 9 to go. So they're looking pretty good. We are now 40% of the way there. We're going to be aggressive, call that half, and stop filming here. You should give it a shot, they're not that hard. Heck, I did it single-handedly.